Hello, good evening and welcome to Joy News Prime. This broadcast is live from our studios here at Kokumlemle in Accra. We're live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125 and around the world on myjoyonline.com. My name is Faustina Safo.
And I am Emmanuel Samani. Tonight, the Attorney General shuts down demands for the Office of the Special Prosecutor to probe into the Aksa deal scandal, backing the Yokum as the more capable body to handle the case.
Also tonight, former Attorney General threatens not to appear in court next week as proceedings in the former buffer stock boss case adjourned pending the Supreme Court's decision on an injunction challenging the Chief Justice directive for trials to continue during the legal vacation.
Also in the bulletin tonight, the Ghana Association of University Administrators industrial action continues unabated despite mounting pressure from the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, Vice Chancellors Ghana, and the Education Minister for the allocation for the association to call off the strike.
At 8 p.m., we'll bring you Prime Business.
Now coming up in business, oil marketing companies rule out keeping full price and despite delays in reviewing values at the pumps.
And at 8:30, we bring you Prime Sports.
We have just 12 days more to go for the 2026 Dress Sports Invitational Tournament at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium.
Well, remember, we are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism.
Well, it's a good time to take a seat and please be our guests. Welcome to the program. This evening, the Attorney General has firmly rejected growing calls for the Office of the Special Prosecutor to investigate Ghanaians implicated in the controversial Aksa deal scandal, declaring that the Economic and Organized Crime Office is more capable, more efficient, and better positioned to handle the case. The Aksa deal has sparked public outrage in recent weeks after bribery allegations and potential financial loss to the state involving some Ghanaian officials. Civil society groups and sections of the public have since been pushing for the OSP to step in, arguing that its independence makes it best suited to probe politically exposed persons.
The FBI is done through that Office of Attorney General. And it's not only OSP that has collaborated with the FBI on this matter. As Yogu said, they've also collaborated. And it's also not true that it is just about bribery and corruption. It's also about money laundering. You know, so there are other offenses involved in it that do not necessarily fall within the mandate of OSP, but which falls within the mandate of Yoku. So all these nuances must be resolved. So it is not a question of, I want to do it. Yes, you want to do it, but who has the mandate to do what ought to be done? It could be that they can collaborate. It could also be that BNI would take over the whole thing. It could also be that the police would have done their work. So it is not a question of, and it shouldn't be turf war, because the essence of all these agencies is to fight corruption and to make sure that crime does not survive in glory.
Well, the Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Justice Sermsai, has also dismissed the push for OSP intervention in the Aksa deal, saying Yoko is more than competent in handling the case. He's been speaking to Evans Mensah in an exclusive interview yet to be aired on PM Express.
It is more about who has the capacity and the skill to do the work than who is independent. Therefore, the independent, trust me, by merely calling an institution independent doesn't make it as independent as you think.
So you believe that Yoko has a capacity that's more efficient than OSP in this matter?
I think the record will show. The record, Yoko's work over the years. And it's not just because of, it's also because of, it's an institution, which, so the older the institution, the more efficient and more likely it is to be. And also it's about cooperation. You see, this work, you cooperate a lot. You cooperate with ministries, department agencies in investigations. That is not because of the individuals who are there today, but because of the institutional capacity building over the years. So there are things that we can do and have the expertise in which even OSP would have to come to Attorney General to get, where Yoko would have to come to Attorney General to get those expertise. So that is the sense in which I'm saying. So it has nothing to do with, you know, who is for the time being occupying that office, but naturally, yeah.
Well, let's explore this further. Join me now is Anaije Bafwewa. He's NPP MP for Menchia South. We appreciate your time here on Joe News Brown. I'd like to get your thoughts. We've just been hearing from the Attorney General tell us that indeed Yoko is competent and can indeed handle this case. I know that the minority, you've been pushing for the OSP to take up the ASCA deal. Your thoughts?
So thank you very much. The first point that I want to put on record is that there are two aspects to this matter. The first aspect being that our institutions that are supposed to protect us from these things happening to us have, failed us. There's the need to inquire into it. The second point being that, and I want to make this point very forcefully, that we do not very respectfully have the power to stop constitutionally mandated bodies from investigating or prosecuting this matter. However, we are putting it on record that we don't trust the Attorney General's office. And we've explained why we don't trust the Attorney General's office to do a good work. We've explained it. It is not to say that we are stopping them from proceeding. We don't have any such power. All we have done is to put on record what we think of the Attorney General's office being involved in this matter.
And you don't trust Yoko to do a good job as well?
Yoko is under the Attorney General. Yoko's power to prosecute is derived from the Attorney General. The Attorney General, in the circumstance, may direct Yoko as to what to do. And so, Yoko, even though has the track record, right, we still think that because of the persons involved, right, we doubt whether they will do a good work. That doesn't mean that they are not capable of doing it, except to say that given the persons involved, the history of this government in terms of how it deals with persons that are members of its party, persons that were previously its appointees. The history points to the fact that the government lacks candor in the manner which it deals with such persons.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that they don't have the power. They have the power. They then may want to prove us wrong, that on this occasion, they may want to do a good job. But it doesn't stop us from making it known to the public that, look, given the trajectory, given the antecedent, these people cannot be trusted. This is our position.
Okay. Thank you so much, Anaije Bafwewa, for your time.
Now, the former Attorney General, Godfred Yeboah-Dame, has threatened not to appear before the High Court to defend his client, Hanan Abdul Wahab, while the legal challenge to trials during the legal vacation remains unresolved. The court adjourned the case to August 25, pending the Supreme Court's determination of an injunction application challenging the Chief Justice's directive for selected trials to continue during the vacation. Legal Affairs correspondent Fatal Bayaga was in court and has filed his report.
Godfred Yeboah-Dame was of the view that the warrant issued by the Chief Justice for cases to proceed during the legal vacation is strange, stressing that his entire legal team will not be available for the proceedings due to other commitments.
I'm not going to be available. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to be available, and it's in keeping with the position I've taken all along. Now, we did not attend trials in the vacation, except pursuant to agreement between the parties. Has never happened before. I've been Attorney General, and not even once was any accused person or any litigant, whether in civil or criminal proceedings, compelled to conduct a trial in the vacation or attend trial in the vacation.
He also warned that if the court compels his client to conduct the case by himself during the legal vacation, it could set a dangerous precedent for the nation.
I'm saying that there cannot be a trial in the vacation. If the court indeed wants to order my client to conduct a case by himself, so be it. And we see the kind of dangerous precedent that will be set in this country. A party has a right to legal representation, to counsel of his choice, and that right is constitutional. It cannot be taken away from a person just by the stroke of the pen of any person.
In the case involving former Chief Executive Officer of the National Signals Bureau, Kobna Edubuahen, a member of his legal team, Peter Osei-Asamoah, held a brief for lead counsel Samuel Atachia and informed the court of a letter seeking an adjournment to October to enable the legal team to complete their personal engagements during the legal vacation. However, trial judge Justice Francis Apanga Chibonga dismissed the letter, explaining that granting the plea would amount to disregarding the Chief Justice warrant. Osei-Asamoah then drew the court's attention to an injunction application before the Supreme Court, challenging the warrant issued by the Chief Justice and prayed for an adjournment. Deputy Attorney General Justice Ramsai opposed the application, arguing that the mere pendency of an injunction application before the apex court should not stop the court from doing its business, and prayed for the plea to be rejected. However, trial judge Justice Apanga Chibonga upheld the plea by the defense and adjourned the case to August 25, pending the outcome of the application before the Supreme Court. For Joy News, Fatau Bayaga, Accra High Court.
Well, let's do some other stories now. Frustration is mounting along the Domi Kwabenya Brekusu Road as residents demand action on the long-stalled project. Contractors say they cannot fully return to work because the contract is yet to be signed. Residents and business owners took to the streets today, giving government until December to begin meaningful work. Stephen Mensah was at the demonstration and filed this report.
There may be different parameters to identifying whether a road is in poor state or not. For drivers, it will be the amount needed to buy spare parts needed to fix their parts of their cars. For residents, how often do we visit in the hospital for regular checkups or for complications from the poor state of their road?
I had a waste problem. I've had a lot of problems on my car. Currently, my shock absorbers are not working. My engine is gone. There's so much dust that one time a lady who was walking by the roadside was hit by a car because the potholes another car was dodging.
A lot of people who have built houses from Kwabenya to Brekusu, they are not staying there all because of the dust, the health of their children. We really need a road to be fixed. I'm an agent. I sell lands and I rent buildings too. So I need customers to come around.
It's a Monday morning and I'm here in the Kwabenya constituency. Many of these residents are up in arms, and they tell us that government has failed in honoring its obligation in fixing the roads.
This is the only alternative road to the presidential lodge. Nobody should deceive anybody that this road has been fixed. We want the road to be fixed now. From Domi, Kwabenya, Comet, Kitasi, Brekusu, all these communities, we have come together to tell the government that we voted for them and we gave them 2 MPs that are very vital. For over the years, for over 20 years, they have never assumed this seat. But we voted for them because of the promise. We want the government to come and fix the road for us. So
it's not just the residents who are being impacted by this. For Clara's Kitchen and many of the patrons who purchase food from here, there's a different hurdle. Dust. And this is maybe one of the hurdles they may have to overtake and overcome when they have to purchase food from here.
Oh, I can't because you have to adrenaline. So they be one foot through seconds. We are just a paper inside and go for adrenaline moody. Then foot through Gumania faint. I can't the higher parents. Almost no money. I want to have and go forth and show your papers to pay you. And so she said, "Yeah, into any crown, no money."
But for the asphalt on the Domi Kwabenya roundabout, most of the stretch has not been tarred, and for every 100 meters, you notice a deep pothole. The road is also covered with thick dust. The residents say they've now opted for nose masks as their healthier choice to prevent some respiratory diseases.
The dust is killing us. Who the people sell over there in the store, nobody can open. Because when it's open, you open your store by 1 o'clock, 30 minutes time, you have to clean that. Every 30 minutes you have to clean your store because of the dust. So if they can do anything for us, we are not asking for a big. Even though small, even though sapity, quality, a little quality, we will be appreciative with it.
How long will residents have to pay the price for a store in project? From Kwabena, I am Stephen Mensah for Joy News.
Fa kwanto mahamenim fa kwano zanisa na no na obeye na no na obeye.
Interesting. Well, in the last few hours, there have been some reactions from the contractors on the site. Project manager for the First Sky Construction Limited, Nicholas Asari-Teku, says they cannot proceed without a signed contract to support payments for the project. Listen.
February of this year, we went back to site and then began laying of the sub-base course of the road from kilometer 4 of the project. And we did about 3 kilometers, all in anticipation of the contract being re-signed. However, as we speak, that has not been done. And so it became a bit difficult for us to continue working. So that is where we stand now.
Okay.
Even before this time, we occasionally did go back there to grade the road to make it potable during occasions when it became bad. But this time around, when we went back, it was not just grading of the road to make it comfortable for motorists to traverse. We started laying of the sub-base, which is part of the pavement structure of the road. And we did 3 kilometers of that. And thinking that at that point, some form of formal agreement was going to be reached. But that wasn't done. And so it became a bit difficult.
Away from that, the Ghana National Fire Service has admitted there is a huge gap in the provision of adequate protective equipment for firefighters as concerns grow over the levels of smoke personnel are exposed to while responding to emergencies. For years, these men and women have run towards fire, often working in thick smoke and difficult conditions. Some firefighters say the health consequences of that exposure are now becoming a growing concern. In our latest feature, Michael Ashali reports on the smoke firefighters carry along after the fire is out.
Years ago, a burning passion led Station Officer Abubakar Mohammed into the Ghana National Fire Service. Over those years, he has run into smoke and raging flames so that lives and property could be saved. Today, as he reflects on that sacrifice, one troubling question lingers. Will he retire with a silent disease in his lungs?
Sometimes you sit down and you're asking yourself questions. How are you going to end? Will you retire? Will you retire healthy? Or you retire sick? Some retire and they get sick. Some get sick before they retire. So it's something that is given us, that is a serious nightmare to all or any firefighter.
It is a sacrifice that began with almost nothing. The service has long struggled with poor logistics and a shortage of protective equipment. In Abubakar's early days, fighting a fire could mean arriving with buckets of water and tree branches and no breathing apparatus at all.
I was posted to a station, Damangu fire station by then. I got there and the car was out of commission as a recruit. So at that time, we got to extend that where if there is a fire call, we have to use our motorbikes. You use your motorbike, you carry a ladder, first floor ladder, you go to the scene. Then with buckets and water, with the assistance of the community, then you do what you can. That was how I started. It has not been easy.
His worry is not abstract. It is rooted in a recent hospital visit. During a routine checkup, a doctor bluntly advised him to stop smoking. But Abubakar had never smoked a cigarette in his life. His lungs were telling a different story, one shaped by years of inhaling thick smoke on the job.
Yes, I remember I one time visited a health facility and I was advised to stop smoking. I told the doctor that I don't smoke. I'm just a fire officer who is always at the front line. So if he detects any smoke in me or sign of maybe smoking, I don't smoke. I only fight fire.
Around the world, the danger is well documented. In the United States, a landmark study followed nearly 30,000 firefighters. It found they were 14% more likely to die from cancer than the general public, with higher rates of cancers of the respiratory, digestive, and urinary systems. In Britain, researchers studied firefighters who battled the 2017 Grenfell Tower fire disaster that left 72 people dead. About 1 in 4 later reported long-term health problems, and the researchers found a strong link to the smoke they had breathed. In Ghana, there are no such studies. There is only the lived experience of officers like Abubakar quietly accumulating layers of smoke in their lungs. And he is not alone. Station Officer Zakaria Yakubu has served for 4 years. He is breathing what Abubakar breathed for 15, and he's still doing it with outdated equipment. Yakubu says the main problem for him is the shortage of fire trucks, also known as tenders.
Almost all our tenders are grouped. For example, this regional headquarters substation, getting to a year now, our tender is grouped. We don't have a tender here. And if you watch the whole Tamale, for now it is only 2 tenders that we have for Tamale and its surrounding villages. So the challenges are numerous.
Well, we can now take a listen to the Deputy Director for the National Operations of the Ghana National Fire Service, ACF01, Osman Enum, who says there is a challenge meeting the demands of the personnel. We spoke on News Desk with Mamiesi Yamiche Thompson.
We know that we need to protect our people before they go out there to protect other people. Yes. And that is not just a saying, it is a duty. Right. They must be protected before they go out there to protect other people. So if we don't protect them, then going out there will not work. Let me say that the equipment gap is quite wide for now. Equipment like firefighting gears and whatever run out of their time in 5 years. We will have all this PM 2.5 and all that sticking on them, on your skin itself even. So after 5 years, almost everything is kind of going out. But you bear with me that for over the past 12, 15 years, we've not really been retooled. Right. Okay, so what we're using now are all, things that are as very old equipment we are trying to manage.
Away from that, the new patriotic party in the Upper West region says government has failed to deliver on its major promises nearly 2 years into office. The party cites the Women's Development Bank, the 24-hour economy, and the Boli Solar Wa Road under the big push. Regional Secretary Dr. Tanko Daniel Dauda says these failures will be central to the MPP's campaign for the 2028 election. Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
Speaking on behalf of the team of Chairman Abdurrahman Abdulaziz, popularly known as Chairman White, which almost swept all the executive positions over the weekend, Regional Secretary Dr. Tanko Daniel Dauda says the party's focus has shifted from internal elections to national power. The MPP suffered a clean sweep in the 2024 parliamentary elections, lost every single seat in the region, but Dr. Dauda says that was then, this is now.
Or I should say, forces that the MPP has never won before. That is Japa, Nadoli, Wa Central, and DBI. But any other seats that is in the Upper West region, including One West, I should say, but every other seat the MPP has won before, which tells us that any seat in the Upper West region is possible for the MPP to win.
According to the MPP, the NDC has so far not delivered on its promises. Dr. Dauda singled out two big promises.
Ghanaians have seen that all their promises that they have given, they are major promises. Talk about 24-hour economy, Women Development Bank. Apart from the big push, which they are even now struggling with it, the Wa Bombay Road. Apart from the Tumu Bolga Road that they are doing something, the Wa Bombay Road is there.
He says building markets is not the 24-hour economy.
So this government, so far as the people of Ghana are concerned, it's just that they are waiting for them to what? To end their tenure, their 4-year tenure, and then to show them the exit.
There were allegations of vote buying during the regional elections. Dr. Dauda dismissed them.
And you can imagine somebody traveling from Lambusi, Gulu, Tumu, Nandom, Lara, and all of them converging in Wa for this purpose. If not for the love of the party, the person would just decide to sit at home. So if you go and greet them and you decide to part away with something, 200 cedis, to help them to transport themselves back, I don't think that it's money that you are using to influence them.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
Now, the ECOWAS Commission is calling for tighter border controls across West Africa to stop violent extremist groups from moving firearms and ammunition across countries. It says stronger cooperation, better surveillance, and timely information sharing are needed to tackle the illicit flow of small arms and light weapons. The call comes as ECOWAS begins a 3-day training program for Ghanaian security agencies on the exemption procedure under its convention on small arms and light weapons. Anita Adams reports.
The movement of small arms and light weapons across porous borders continues to pose a security threat to countries within the West African sub-region. The ECOWAS Commission says violent extremist groups and jihadists are taking advantage of weak border controls to move weapons across countries. The acting head of the Small Arms Division at ECOWAS, Adiomi Abayomi, says the threat requires a collective response from member states.
ECOWAS intervention arms control has really been helpful, but yet, like I said, there's room for improvement. Yes, we have observed that violent extremist groups continue to have access to arms and ammunition. There are many reasons that are responsible for this. One of them is our porous borders. If you travel across the region, you'll find out many of the borders are not manned. So the borders are porous, so this gives easy access to these terrorist groups to acquire arms and ammunition. And then also we've had whereby also these groups as well, they bogu, national armories, to cut away weapons and ammunition.
The executive secretary of the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons, Adam Bona, says Ghana has strengthened security at its borders to prevent the illegal movement and transfer of firearms and ammunition.
So we are coordinating to ensure that the bad guys are arrested, prosecuted, and a lot is being done. The Small Arms Commission is doing a lot. All allied security agencies are on board to fight illicit arms in this country.
According to stakeholders, the training is aimed at equipping national focal points with the knowledge and skills required to regulate the transfer and purchase of firearms. For Joy News, I am Anita Adams.
You're still watching Joy News Prime. When we return, the Ghana Association of University Administrators Industrial Action, continues unabated despite mounting pressure from the Ghana Teshie Education Commission, GTEC, Vice Chancellor's Ghana, and the Education Minister for the association to call off the strike. We'll give you details after this quick turn, right, Samani?
Absolutely.
Why are you smiling, though? Stay with us.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back from the break to other stories now.
Now, for months, residents of Teshie telephone pole have endured the agony of dry taps, leaving many with no option but to improvise to survive. A situation that has now reached a disturbing extreme, with some residents resorting to seawater for basic household needs. It is unclear why the Ghana Water Limited supply is not reaching them, but their desperate search for water continues. Evelyn Ampa visited the area and reports.
Imagine turning on your tap, hoping for water, only to see nothing. Here at Teshie telephone pole area, residents say that silence can stretch for 1, sometimes even 2 months. And when the water finally comes, it is only for a few hours with barely enough pressure to fill a container. This is the reality of a water crisis that residents say has turned an everyday necessity into a daily life struggle. The problem for residents here is not only how long they go without water, but also how little time they have to get it when the supply finally comes.
Time now we've not been getting water. What they do is they open, I think, Wednesdays into Thursday. But then we don't get it. It's not able to go into our tanks. So it means that should you sleep and then you are not able to wake up early to meet the time is opened, you wouldn't have water.
Then again, what flows from the taps is sometimes unclean, often looking muddy or milkish.
Sometimes the water is even dirty. You can't use it.
With the taps unreliable, residents have had to look for other sources. Many depend on water tankers, but the cost is becoming difficult to keep up with.
Tankers, no money bar, 1,000 cedi, and no money bray.
The tankers charge 1,000 cedis for a tank. What work do we do that every 2 weeks we have to buy water for 1,000 cedis? There's no money to keep buying it.
See, water is life, but you
And for those who cannot afford a tanker, buying water in smaller quantities is another option. Some pay as much as 5 cedis for a single gallon.
Some places, if you go to fill a gallon this size, it costs 5 cedis for one. Imagine you have about 10 people at home. How will you manage with 1 gallon?
Some have also turned to boreholes, but that too comes with a problem. The water is salty because the community is close to the sea and has to be treated before use.
Some of us have resorted to borehole because the tanker is expensive. That's about 1,000 cedis for every trip. So we've dug a borehole, but unfortunately it was salty, so we have to, yes, because we are closer to the sea, and then we would have to treat it before we use. Yeah.
For James Apia, he turns to the sea to bathe, but because seawater does not lather easily with bathing soap, he has to use a detergent instead.
The water crisis can be so severe that sometimes we...
Away from that, the Ghana Association of University Administrators says its industrial action continues unabated despite mounting pressure from the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, Vice Chancellor's Ghana, and the Education Minister for the association to call off the strike. A crunch meeting with the Education Minister, Haruna Idrisu, earlier today ended inconclusively, with GAWA maintaining that it will not suspend its strike for now. There is more in the following report.
I want you to call off your action, the strike action. You are aware, as you know, that it's affecting academic work on campus. And
the pressure on the Ghana Association of University Administrators to call off its industrial action appears to be mounting. GTEC and Vice Chancellor's Ghana have already urged the association to return to work, while the Education Minister Haruna Idrisu has also appealed for the strike to be suspended. At a stakeholder conference at the Ministry of Education, the minister assured GAWA that government would resolve outstanding payment issues within a month.
I want you to call off your action, the strike action. You are aware, as you know, that it's affecting academic work on campus, and we don't want a disruption of the academic calendar further. Give me 1 month from today. Today is like 16th. So 1 month from today, 1 month from today, but I need the data. That's all he's asked from me.
But despite the assurance and the minister's appeal, Gawa says the industrial action continues unabated. The association says it will maintain the strike pending further consultations with its members.
The strike is ongoing. We have assured the minister that we will get back to our constituents and get back to him after 48 hours. So that is the message. Thank you.
Gawa is expected to report back to the education minister within 48 hours. Until then, the pressure continues to mount on the association to call off its strike. But for now, Gawa remains resolute in its decision to stay off the job. The development means the industrial action by university administrators remains in full force, despite repeated calls from key stakeholders in government for the association to return to work. For Joy News, Nancy Kumsen report, read to you.
Now, the University of Gold Coast is urging its graduates to look beyond the academic certificates and distinguish themselves through ethical leadership, discipline, and a strong work ethic. The charge came at the university's first graduation ceremony, at which 1,500 students crowned their 4-year academic toils. Mavis Kubako reports.
It was a major milestone for the University of Gold Coast as for the first time, graduates received certificates awarded in the university's own name. Previously operating as a mentee institution of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, the university can now confer its own degrees following the attainment of full charter status. Chairman of the Governing Council of the university, Professor P.K. Richardson, challenged the graduates to look beyond their certificates and develop the discipline, attitude, and work ethic needed to distinguish themselves in the workplace.
Because you can have a certificate and still not deliver. You know, because it's more than the certificate, it's attitude, the determination to make a difference, the determination to work hard, make a contribution, and so forth and so on. Is the extra. The certificate just opens the door for you to get in. And at the interview, we want you to convince us, those doing the interview, that apart from the certificate, you can actually deliver results. That's what the companies are looking for.
With approval to run a PhD program in business administration, Vice Chancellor Gideon Titiofe said the university is positioning itself as a hub for research and technology-driven learning.
When you come into our lecture house, you are meeting high-caliber individuals from industry, and then we are also meeting astute academicians who also bring into the classroom top-level research. So in terms of technology, from your application to lectures to your graduation, you have a seamless technology integration. We are offering all manner of educational opportunities to all manner of learners in all manner of ways.
Valedictorian Isaac Mensah attributed his academic success to hard work and the university's flexible approach to learning.
So here, the subjects are not bunched up like in some schools that I attended, where in a day you have to write about 2 subjects. Here you write 1 subject in a month, so very flexible. I wasn't also too much surprised because I had worked hard. Right from the beginning, I told myself that I got to do this. So after work, I would sit down throughout the whole night and then read.
For the University of Gold Coast, the charter marks its transition into a fully fledged autonomous university with the authority to award its own degrees and shape its academic programs and research agenda. For Joy News, Davis Kabuko's report, read to
you. That's my school, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where I got my MSc Comms and International Marketing.
Yeah, sorry, please. But it's time for me to let you go, unfortunately.
Yes, I have to go. It's time for me to go. And then we'll bring you Showbiz after the break.
Irene will be here shortly. Stay with us. And it's time now for Showbiz. Irene is in the studio. Hi, Irene.
Hi, Steve.
Okay, it's Corporate Monday for me, please.
I'm following your footsteps.
Thank you. What's happening in the world of entertainment, my darling?
It's that time again when we take you into the world of entertainment.
Okay.
And today we are going straight to Nobody Knows Tomorrow. Hustler from Chokoto Mamprobi, from Ashaman to Kotobabi, with a bed under the sun, but still give Jaja the glory. All right, my voice is terrible, but Stonebwoy is in the news because he has made history becoming the first Ghanaian artist to headline a sold-out event at the OVO Arena, Wembley in London, from performances by Juma Jukes, from Tiwa Savage, and even Stonebwoy himself. It was a night to remember. I wasn't there. Fosti wasn't there either. But Bex was in London to witness it all, and she's on standby to give us a highlight of the event.
Ghanaian music is an extraordinarily rich and diverse landscape defined by historic traditional rhythms, the foundational mid-century evolution of highlife, and modern global powerhouses like hiplife and Afrobeats. The description fits perfectly, except they forgot to add one genre: Afro dance hall. The originator of this genre, Stonebwoy, is the center of this conversation.
That you were behind the camera, you listened to it, Sheree, as an industry player, somebody who followed the journey of Stonebwoy and other musicians in Ghana. What do you think that this means to us? This is the first major show by a Ghanaian artist.
I think it's a good lead for the other sports to follow. In fact, if you follow the conversation around the announcement to the selling of tickets to the day and all of that, you'll understand that a lot of people believe that this is possible.
The next everything at the moment, trust me. I'm a big fan. Honestly speaking, I love it. I love it.
The location is London's OVO Arena, and the ultimate goal is to sell Ghana to the rest of the world. London got a massive taste of Ghana with BIM Festival headlined by Stonebwoy. From the stage design, which was heavily inspired by the Black Star Square, to the monumental scenes and the celebration of Ghana's highlight music with visuals depicting the genre's greats, it was evident there was a deliberate effort by organizers to represent Ghana in a way that celebrates history and reminds an entire generation of who we are and what we've got. The fans got their money's worth with an impeccable lineup featuring stellar performances by Tanzania's Juma Jukes, Patoranking, Tiwa Savage, Samini, Kwabena, Mr. P, Oforian Ponsa, and a host of other incredible talents. At the 12,000 capacity arena, here is what music lovers had to say about the impact of this event for the growing music industry and Ghana at large.
Like, the timing was right, we brought everybody out, it was perfect. Stonebwoy, you can't take that away from him. The performance, great. I will pay 100 times to come see.
It was so nice, it was super nice. When Stonebwoy was playing at Showbiz. And we are staying there now.
This is extraordinary. If there is any other word than extraordinary, I'll give it to Stonebwoy.
Call him a man who knows his purpose and is living it. Or better still, call him Stonebwoy.
All right, kudos to Stoneboy. This is not just a win for him, but a proud moment for Ghana. Away from that, let's turn our attention to the creative arts industry where Era Art has spoken. So for those of you who may not know Era Art, she is the female pencil artist who made a portrait of Aisha Speed when he came to Ghana and presented it to him in the kente and the hair. So Era Art is in the news, but this time around, not because of Aisha Speed, but she is rather calling on government to support the art industry. According to her, government has paid little attention to the art industry, and therefore she believes that they also deserve some attention given to the music and sports sectors.
There's no substantial evidence that the government is actually supporting or pushing the arts industry like they do with the movies and, you know, the football, you know there's effort into, though you can see there's a visible effort you see. But with the art industry, if you're not pushing yourself, you won't get far. So parents don't also see the need to push their children or encourage their children to dive into the arts industry. And so that's a major problem I think they should look into. Do something, support, maybe arts fest, national arts something, you know, there are arts festivals. Those are individually created festivals. There's not really a government thing for us to talk about. So with that, I think the government can do better, you know, with that.
All right, so we've heard from her. Fosti, I'm done.
Thank you so much, Irene, and congratulations. You're doing very, very well with Career Trail.
Thank you.
I've been watching your episodes, and you deserve the flowers. So
thank you very much.
This is me giving you all the big ups. And it's time for us to go. Derek says we should go. Okay, Irene, tell them bye-bye.
That'll be your fault today. Bye.
Bye.